It's very important to be careful of getting addicted to astrology and addicted to tarot card readings. I am saying this as a person who has been addicted to tarot readings and who really is into astrology, and I've been into both of them for many, many, many years. But there is a fine line that you should draw when it comes to astrology and tarot readings. So here is kind of a way to set up that boundary. If you are getting so many astrology readings from astrologers that you are going broke, you need to stop doing it. If you are finding yourself treating other people differently based on their sign, you need to understand that signs are complicated and there is a negative and a positive manifestation of every placement, even if it is in fall or detriment or it's exalted. There's degrees that come into play, evolved versus early degrees. These things, it gets so complicated, treating people differently based on their sign, having pre-existing ideas about people based on their sign, it can become a barrier to your communication with other people. It's also really important to understand that in astrology, like, you'll never ever really learn the full extent of it. You are always learning, and you could study it for 20 years and you will still be learning. That's how it is with all occult sciences, anything esoteric. Even if you're someone who reads the Bible and that's like your thing, it you can spend your entire lifetime studying it and you will never fully grasp all of it. So grasp it loosely because your understanding will change. With tarot readings, if you are consulting tarot multiple times a day, if you are asking it about what other people think about you, their intentions of you, if you're asking tarot about the truth about things and you're getting repeated cards, that's sometimes an indication that you are doing it too much. Sometimes tarot will even let you know with specific cards that you are overdoing it. I recommend not doing more than one a day ever. Do not consistently keep pulling and pulling and pulling cards because you will exhaust all that it can tell you. It's way too much. You need to know when to say no. So just be aware that tarot readings and astrology readings, they're very addictive. Learning about it can be very addictive. It's very fun and very interesting, and it can be your passion, but just don't overdo it and don't rely so heavily, because sometimes you might even misinterpret cards years later. If you like track your cards, or if you keep like a diary of your readings, you might realize later that you did not understand the cards. Also, if you're reading for yourself, your personal feelings can heavily play into what manifests in the cards, and it might not even be accurate. It might be more in line with what you are feeling. So take that into account. I've heard of people losing jobs or leaving relationships over what they saw in cards, only to find out later that that was a really bad idea and that they understood the cards poorly, and then they ended up doing something they regretted. So just be aware that these things can be addictive and they're not always positive. Sometimes if we rely too heavily on these things, this is, in my opinion, why the Bible does warn of doing this and placing your faith in cards or oracles. I also use the I Ching. These things can be really, really fun and interesting tools. They can help you find insight in a lot of areas of life, but you don't want to rely too heavily on these things when it comes to making decisions or having certain opinions or thoughts about other people. You want to always follow your intuition and be practicing different things that strengthen your intuition, and really trying to take control of your life and use your free will. Because, for example, with the Book of Changes, with I Ching, nothing is set in stone. Things can change. The same thing with tarot cards. It's the way that things are right now, but things can change. And astrology, it's like 2/3 fate, but then the other third is your free will, and you can like take what you have and you can do different things with it. It is not always negative, and it is not always set in stone. There are things we cannot change and cannot do, but is a lot that we can do, and it's better to focus on trusting God and trusting what the divine reason for everything is than to get really caught up in the negativity that people can feel from astrology readings, specifically Vedic astrology. It can make people feel really fatalistic and bad about everything. It can make them hate themselves for certain qualities they have, or feel resentful over the certain path or the cards that they were dealt, or feel that way about others. So this is just like a warning to be aware that this is something we need to use with restraint, and just be cautious not to rely too heavily on it, because we have to have faith sometimes. We have to believe that all of this is not in vain, and that you have to kind of look at the glass half full. You shouldn't always be looking at everything in a fatalistic, nihilistic way. So just be careful out there. I love astrology and tarot cards and all of that. And it has its place. I don't really practice tarot that much anymore, but just be aware that it can also be an addiction, and you don't want to get addicted to oracles.